to Tewkesbury Station, but if you planned on a trip, I'm afraid you're too late, for today is the last train. Many enthusiasts took advantage of the run from Ashchurch, and it is ironic that the train has not been so well patronised in all its years of service.
All aboard! And there she goes!
friend of mine's invited me.
We've got a little package actually.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
There's 3, 4
Midnight Train to Georgia, Gladys Knight, and the pits there on BBC Radio.
You said that's the one.
The high street, it's not in the high street in Tewkesbury. You know, yeah. And they weren't allowed to cross the high street. One of the rules was they weren't allowed to cross the high street to go down the beach or whatever. They weren't allowed to do it. How many sheep?
Everybody says that.
Yes, so that's
I always want a villain.
well, I guess beaching time was on that. 63. I was only a school boy.
Of course you
I'm running to Hall Station.
Right, I've just lost my script. Bill has agreed to sign 30 wide words of which we go through. I'm very honoured that the Mayor and Mayoress have come tonight. The Mayor tells us he used to own quite a bit of this land anyway. You never know who owns what in Tewkesbury.
You should sell the tickets.
What we thought, we had no idea how we were going to run this, because it's not done before. So we thought, is there Sam here? Come on, Sam.
There's a train coming.
You're late for the train.
Take the Evesham line. You know, you're 2 minutes late.
So we thought I asked members to come up with suggestions of poems to read. And what we're going to do, and at 6:25 precisely, Ian's going to take over then and symbolically show the time when the last train moved out of Tewkesbury in that direction.
There are a lot of people behind Morrisons.
I left Jan there.
Yeah, but I waited till 5:02.
They go back and get corralled.
Realised, as we've been sort of thinking about today, is that the reason why we're remembering the railway that was is that it was underused, and the population fell in love with the motor car. And so 2 years before beaching, the railway in Tewkesbury was closed. Why? Because it was a good service, but nobody wanted to use it. Was it out? Did it price itself out? Was it cheaper to go by bus or car? But we haven't got it now. And we're bemoaning something that we'd love to have, but it wasn't used.
Thank you. So we thought we'd start with a positive poem with Bill, please. Are you ready then, Bill? Because Auden's Night Mail, it recalls the heyday of the railway. So off you go then, Bill.
Night Mail by W.H. Auden. This is the night mail crossing the border, bringing the cheque and the postal order. Letters for the rich, letters for the poor, the shop at the corner and the girl next door. Pulling up Beatock, a steady climb, the gradient's against her, but she's on time. Past cotton grass and moorland boulder, shoveling white steam over her shoulder. Snorting noisily she passes, silent miles of wind-bent grasses. Birds turn their heads as she approaches, stare from the bushes at her blank-faced coaches. Sheepdogs cannot turn her course, they slumber on with paws across. In the farm she passes, no one wakes, but in a jug in a bedroom gently shakes. Dawn freshens, her climb is done. Down towards Glasgow she descends, towards the steam tugs yelping down a glade of cranes, towards the fields of apparatus, the furnaces set on the dark plain like gigantic chessmen. All Scotland waits for her. In dark glens, beside pale green locks, men long for news. You can join in with this bit because you can sway. Letters of thanks, letters from banks, letters of joy from girl and boy, receipted bills and invitations, to inspect new stock or to visit relations, and applications for situations, and timid lovers' declarations, and gossip from all the nations, news circumstantial, news financial, letters with holiday snaps to enlarge in, letters with faces scrawled on the margin, letters from uncles, cousins and aunts, letters to Scotland from the south of France, letters of condolence to Highland and Lowlands, written on paper of every hue, the pink, the violet, the white and the blue, the chatty, the catty, the boring, the adoring, the cold and official and the heart's outpouring, clever, stupid, short and long, the typed and the printed and the spelt all wrong. Thousands are still asleep, dreaming of terrifying monsters or a friendly tea beside the band in Cranston's or Crawford's, asleep in working Glasgow, asleep in well-set Edinburgh, asleep in granite Aberdeen. They continue their dreams, but shall wake soon and hope for letters, and none will hear the postman's knock without a quickening of the heart, for who can bear to feel himself forgotten?
Very good.
When I was a student, I worked in one Christmas in the post office in Liverpool, and one of the postmen had worked on the night mail
and he said that between London and Glasgow, they sorted the mail so many times that, you know, going along the track, it made different progress until they got to Glasgow and it was sorted into the streets. That's how skilled they were. So over and over again, but we're sure of one thing, it never passed along here.
Okay, and I think Ian will love the next one because of the because it's the song of the engines. Okay, and Bill wants to read that as well.
Yeah, just before I read it, it did remind me when I saw the words of a Burl Ives song that used to be played on children's favourites years ago. The Song of the Engine by Christine Weatherly. When you travel on the railway and the line goes up a hill, just listen.
Not just here, but the welded track now. So you don't get the clickety-click, clickety-click, clickety-click. And we've lost the sound of the steam as well. So we've lost the sound.
Absolutely. Okay, so Angie is going to read a poem suggested by Sue Daly, which is from a railway carriage by Robert Louis Stevenson. So we must be now back way in the early days of railways, which Robert Louis Stevenson.
I'm sure that I put the lenses back in the right side. I thought I was blind for a week last week. I didn't know they were the same size, did I? Okay. Right. This is by Robert Louis Stevenson. It's called From the Railway Carriage. Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. All of the sights of the hill and the plain fly as thick as driving rain, and ever again in the wink of an eye painted stations whistle by. Here is a child who clambers and scrambles all by himself and gathering brambles. Here is a tramp who stands and grazes, and there is his green for stringing daisies. Here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill, and there is a river, each a glimpse, and gone forever.
Yes, very nice.
We used to travel to my sister's up in Alderston. We had instructions every time we came to the station to all crowd to the platform side. And nobody came in our carriage. It was a family room. You know, but that whizzing by, all the things that you saw as a town kid, all the things that I didn't see in the town, but I saw from the train.
So it opened up your world.
It did, yeah.
Oh, very good. Now Mike Everley, one of our members who lives elsewhere, Swansea in fact, he wanted us to read Adelstrop by Edward Thomas. I'd never heard of Edward Thomas, but just so happened that the new book's been published and the Mail reviewed it last week. And you're not to be surprised that Sam would like to read this. I'm sure he'll explain to him why he wants to read it. Sam!
Thank you. On June 23rd, 1914, the poet Edward Thomas was on a train from Oxford to Worcester. And a while later, he wrote this. Yes, I remember Adelstrop, the name, because one afternoon of heat, the express train drew up there, unwontedly. It was late June. The steam hissed. Someone cleared his throat. No one left and no one came. On the bare platform, what I saw was Adelstrop, only the name. And willows, willow herb and grass. and meadowsweet and haycocks dry. No whit less still and lonely fair than the high cloudlets in the sky. And for that minute a blackbird sang, close by, and round him mistier, farther and farther, all the birds of Oxfordshire and Gloucestershire. The author, sadly, was killed on the Western Front on 9th of April 1917.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah.
Unexpected stops. I can remember travelling from Birmingham to Stratford-on-Avon, and the fellow I was with suddenly said, "This is our stop." And we jumped off, and the train just pulled out. And it wasn't our stop. It was 2 stops before Stratford, and we had to walk the rest of the way. So unexpected stops have good things and disappointments as well.
Could I relate a story?
You can.
When I was a child, we were travelling to Sheffield, and unbeknown to us, or we were rather deaf, we didn't hear them at Gloucester say, "Change a crew." Well, we were toddling along, and all of a sudden we seemed to be slowing down round her. And then we started going backward. And my mother stood at the window panicking, and Dad said, "Oh, what are you shouting about?" She said, "We're in a siding. We've been backed off into a siding."
How long did you stay there?
Well, Dad picked me up because I was only young, and we had to walk across the tracks, back across, until we could get to the next connection up to Sheffield, because it was all change a crew.
That could be a poem, Annie. Change a crew. One of the things I remember about in 1950, which I enjoyed, was Flanders and Swan. Mud, mud, glorious mud, and other wonderful things they did. Well, they were also infected by the impending loss of the railways, and wrote the slow train. Millersdale for Tidesdale, Kirby Muxlow, Malcop and Scholar Green. No more will I go to Blandford Forum and Morty Ho on the slow train from Midsummer Norton and Mumby Road. No churns, no porter, no cat on the seat. At Charlton Conhardy or Chesterley Street. We won't be meeting again on the slow train. I'll travel no more from Little Badsea to Openshaw. At Longstanton, I'll stand well clear of the doors no more. No whitewashed pebbles, no up and no down, from Formby before crosses to Dunstable town. I won't be going again on the slow train. On the main line and good siding, the grass grows high. At Dog Dyke, Tumby Woodside and Trouble House Halt. The sleepers sleep at Ordham and Ambergate. No passenger waits on Chitterning platform or Cheslin Hay. No one departs, no one arrives. From Selby to Gould, from St. Erth to St. Ives, they've all passed out of our lives on the slow train, on the slow train. Cockermouth for Buttermere, on the slow train. Armley Aram, Pye Hill and Summercote, on the slow train. Windmill End.
This would have been a slow train.
It was.
That's not
Quite
enough, that
slow.
it would be.
Somebody said to me today, there were only 3 a day. And so, you know, just think of the trains. I can remember getting into one carriage one time and somebody had nicked the strap to let the window down. My brother-in-law told me, it's probably a soldier who wanted a strop for his razor.
Yeah.
And it had gone. But we were inside. It was either window full open or right there, right closed, you know. And then the other things, you know, the soot in your eye. You're going somewhere special.
And you get there dirty.
Yeah, and you've got muck on your shirt. Big lump of soot there, you know, and all those things. And you know, where I was brought up was called the Rocket in Liverpool, because that's where Stevenson's rocket went, from Edge Hill through. And so, you know, what I'm realising is I'm craving something that when we had it, we didn't like it. When we had it, we wanted something else. And isn't that like us in so many areas? When we have it, we don't want it, and when we haven't got it, we'd love to have it back.
We don't miss it till it's gone.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
They paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
We've got one more poem now, and the train is actually ahead of time. So if anybody would like after this poem to share their reminiscences of life on the slow train, or we'd love to, especially anybody who actually travelled on this train. So Dave, could you read the poem by the patron saint of, there he is, of steam railways, which is Sir John Betjeman. I don't know if any of you have been to see the new St Pancras, which is a wonderful station, a wonderful Gothic experience, and even the train to Paris is wonderful. But there's two superb statues there. There's one of a courting couple saying goodbye. It could be any race, any year, wonderful. But there's also a whimsical statue of Sir John Betjeman, which is just typical of what you remember him. And through my childhood, I remember John Betjeman did some wonderful television programmes about railways and how we shouldn't let them go. So the end of this poem is quite interesting. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, this is Dilton Marsh Holt, adapted from a poem by Sir John himself. Was it worth keeping the Holt open, we thought, as we looked at the sky, read through the spread of the cedar tree with the evening train gone by? Yes, we said, for in summer the anglers use it. 2 and sometimes 3 will bring their catches of rods and poles and perches to Tewkesbury, home to tea. There isn't a porter. The platform is made of sleepers. The guard of the last up train puts out the light, and high over lorries and cattle, the Holt unwinking waits through the Gloucestershire night. And when all the horrible roads are finally done for, and there's no more petrol left in the will to burn, here to the Holt from Birmingham and from Bristol, steam trains will return.
Please carry on.
My name's Helen Carver. My father, John Carver, was I think the last station master at Ashchurch. We came there in 1961, and I think I don't know when the Ashchurch Station closed. It's a few years after that. It's 70. Well, this is a train I didn't catch. In 1961, I was about 12, and my father was at Ashchurch railway station, and I went down to see the last train to Upton. And it was a carriage with 2 little steam engine in a bay platform. And my father said, oh, would I like to go on it? And to my eternal shame and regret, I said, no, thank you, Daddy.
Well, you missed opportunities. Yeah.
John, have you got time for one more?
Of course you have. You carry on till Ian blows the whistle.
My father, Tony Perry, he was writing to my mother when he was in war service in the late 40s, when he was in the sewers, and he'd been writing to my mother for some time through, he got to know my whereabouts, my mum, through my mum's brother, Ken Parsons, and my dad travelled from Wellington in Somerset to Tewkesbury on the train, and he'd never met my mother in his life, and he'd written to her, never spoke to her on the phone or anything like that, and he actually came into here, and my mother's grandfather, Ted Parsons, met my father, and they lived on 1 Oldby Road, and that's when my father met my mother for the first time. And he travelled into this station from Wellington in Somerset in, I'm not sure if it was 1949 or 1950.
Oh, right, well, you're the result then. Jeff, yes.
I've just got one.
My grandmother used to take me to Ashchurch and to Evesham, tuppence a ride, and we used to spend the day there and come back. On one occasion, my uncle, Jack Boskett, was with us.
Well, you're not related.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, delighted, yeah.
My uncle, Jack Boskett, took me, and we got into the paddle machines and boats in Evesham Park, and he left me. And I came out with blisters on my hand, came back. That's my ride, probably about twice a week. Tuppence a ride to us, change at Ashchurch, and to Evesham.
What we have forgotten really talking today, the line actually from here to Ashchurch then carried on, didn't it?
Yeah.
Through the villages, Ashton upon Hill,
right.
to Redditch. Yeah. So they almost tried to get a circle. You actually went to Evesham, obviously.
2 minutes late on the actual day, and it didn't leave till 27 minutes past, but we're going to do it on 25 minutes past, and we're going to blow a whistle, and it's not just an ordinary whistle. It just so happens that this whistle used to work this line by a porter, and it was given to me to look after by a local family from Ashchurch Road, and they're very pleased with what we're doing tonight and what we're doing tomorrow. So this is the whistle we're going to blow away the train with, the ghost train, at 25 minutes past. How long we got, John?
We have only 1 minute.
1 minute. You better make your way. Once we blow the whistle, Jack's then going to blow the steam whistle, which we've got up on the end there, because the procedure was you shout all aboard, which I'll do in a minute, blow the whistle, the steam driver would acknowledge the whistle, and away it goes. And then once it's gone, I'll just explain a few little artifacts of what we got left from Tewkesbury 50 years ago. So how are we doing, John? Are we nearly there? The Thunderer, yeah.
I've got my husband.
Yeah. You've got John's with it. This is the BRW, which is the Western region.
Shall we go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All aboard! And there she goes! Almost a real thing. I won't tell you what it's off. There's a few members here that
Yeah, we know what it's off.
So that's what happened 50 years ago. Now, I'm very pleased what's gone on here tonight, and I think it's been perfect, John, what you've managed to organise. It's been really, really good. Now, what we got left after 50 years, we got the site we're on. There's still the platforms. There's a few bricks here and there. There's the stanchion there for the signal post. When you look at the photographs tonight and the presentation which John and Sam's doing later, you'll see the stanchion just over there. I can show you the frogs in it if you want, and everything else. But when this train left 50 years tonight, it was pulled by what we call, the enthusiasts called, the Tewkesbury locomotive. It was our locomotive which was the regular. It's in all the ones you see where Jim Workman was driving, you know, Harry's son. And I think...
Brother.
Sorry, yeah, Harry's brother. Now, Jim Workman's son, who's called Lance, is actually coming tomorrow to see the steam train. And he lives down in Bournemouth somewhere, so he's actually making a special journey tomorrow to see the steam train. Now, the number of this engine, which pulled the last train from Tewkesbury, was 43754. And this is the original plate, which I managed to find in an auction. And so there we are. This is the first time it's ever come back to this site for 50 years. Okay, so hello Len, you've missed the train, mate, it's gone. So when the whistle went, this is the actual plate off the front of the engine under the chimney, and this would be halfway to Canterbury Leeds by now, tooting at everybody in the window. So that's a bit of special history there. You can still smell the soot on the back if anyone wants a sniff. If you're as mad as me, I sniff it every night before I go to bed. So that's that. Now, this goes without saying, because this is where we're standing now. This is one of the original 4 Tewkesbury target signs, okay? And this was found about 5 years ago in an auction in Upton. No, sorry, Ledbury. Actually, this and a Ripple one. So it put me severely in debt, but I had to have it.
I'm still paying things off now for it, but there we are. But my brother Brian had plenty, so being one of the richest men in Tewkesbury, he loaned me the cash. But there we are, and this is the first time this has been back to the site. Now these signs were positioned on the four corners of the platforms, so you know, it could have been on this platform or the other, I don't know. But there we are, you're welcome to come and have a look. It's on display tonight, and it's actually going to be fitted on a post tomorrow on the cycle track when we do the steaming.
There is one at Toddington, isn't there, in narrow gauge.
And that's the only two we know.
Yeah, we only know two of the four. We don't know where the other two are.
And the other thing, now this came into my possession about a fortnight ago. It's just an ordinary box. Alright, nothing about it, there's a book in there and a pen. But a guy come into the garage and said, do you want this old box? And I thought, oh well, it's old, it's got some printing on it, it might do alright for something. And then he said, because there's a story behind it. And I said, well, what's the story? He says, well, you see the railway sticker on there, which is just his luggage label sticker saying Midland Railway. He says, this was the Tewkesbury train internal post box. And I said, what do you mean? He says, well, this used to sit on the carriages in the guards compartment, and it used to carry the internal post from Ashchurch to Tewkesbury, of which there was plenty. And he says, when it closed, this was going in the bin, and he thought, I'll have that. And it's been in the loft for 50 years. And I can't believe it's come out just before the anniversary tonight. So what we got here tonight, I've managed to get 4 original items. What we got here, look, we've got 4 original items coming back to the original site. Alright? To me that means quite a lot. Okay? Because it's keeping history alive, and we all love history, or else we wouldn't be here. We love talking about it, we love learning about it and everything else. So I think now we're going to finish. We better have another toot to the whistle. Don't forget tonight, the Methodist Church, 7:30 start, John. Afterwards, back into the YMCA, there is a large photographic collection and display which we set up for you. There is free tea and coffees, a few biscuits, and if anybody wants a can of shandy or something, the bar's open downstairs. So that's straight after John's production tonight. Tomorrow, oh, here's Greg over there. Look, he's found Tewkesbury from Toddington. And tomorrow we've got 2 steam engines coming on the old cycle track. We're going on the tarmac section. We've got a little LMS tank and a GWR engine, and we're doing top and tail runs between 12 and 4, giving the children 50p rides for Parkinson's disease. Okay, so come along. You can have a go, Jeff, because my dad used to take me with showing, but he did bring you back, didn't he?
School uniform.
So you know, this really means a lot to me, and I thank everybody else to come in, but I especially thank John for putting it together, and I'm so sad I couldn't come to his walk today. But thank you ever so much, everybody.
But this all started last September because Ian came to talk to the History Society. He brought all the things out of his garden in his garage, and you'd be amazed what's in his garden. And we loved it so much that this all has come from Ian's inspiration. He's a fantastic bloke to work with. And isn't it amazing? He was just born, weren't you, in August 1961. Yeah, he's done more than anybody to keep this alive. So thanks very much, youngster.
Well, that's all right.
And all the Boskets, yes. Yeah. And even the young Boskets. Yeah.
I wanted to run the trains here, but they wouldn't let me. I couldn't get the licence for that. But on the tarmac was okay. Health and safety, this is.
Leave.
It's a miracle.
Say no more.
Yeah. So we hope then to see you at 7:30 at the Methodist Church. And if not, come and have a ride tomorrow on Ian's engine. Well done. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Bill, for your thoughts. Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming. And to all the press.
Very good.
Yes, the mayor's.
They were fine.
Shop. Hey! Ah, you got used to it.
Hey!
Guys!
You could drive a train through there.
Yes, I know. Are you talking about the box?
goods. It was the guard. Was it? Yeah. Evidently disartist for the road wall. So he would ask for the Tewkesbury duty. He would nip over the wall, like a tinker.
That would be about where we Alright, Roger.
Is it? That was the last one. Well, I don't understand but it's
Just hope he can stop.
He got good brakes.
It works really well. It's brown there and they're lovely. And there's a baby.
To get off. Wasn't it? Yep. Right in as well.
Oh, he's there, is he?
Yeah.
Jack said he'd do, right?
Yeah, we said that, can't you? told me customers to get down 3:30 and they all came to
Oh, wow, there we go. History in the making, Roger.
Which is where the platform was.
Oh, yeah.
And Andy read the poem, 3 or 4 poems there. And the whistle was down.
Wonderful.